Hi there, scholars. Happy Wednesday to you. Tonight for math homework, I'm giving you fractions. You don't have to add or subtract them tonight. All I want you to do is really practice that skill of simplifying fractions. So putting them in their most simplest forms, or some parents might have called this back in their day reducing fractions or simplifying fractions. So I want to remind you of the steps to take when we are simplifying fractions, all right? So I'm just going to use my notebook that I have been using in class, only because only a few of us need a helpful reminder, so I'm not going to go into a full, long, extensive video for right now. All right, so on Monday, I taught you how to simplify fractions in 2 steps. The first step being to identify the greatest common factor, GCF. When you find that GCF, you're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by the GCF to get your fraction in its most simplest reduced form. So in my notebook, we used the example 4/6. And the first step we did was we listed the factors of 4 and 6. 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6, or the inverse, 3 times 2 is 6. So we need to find the greatest common factor, so the biggest factor that they have in common. So we know that 4 and 6 have a factor of 1, 4 and 6 have a factor of 2, and 2 seems to be the biggest number that 4 and 6 have in common. So helpful reminder, if the GCF is just 1, then the fraction is already in its simplest form. But for this instance, 4/6, the GCF is 2, okay? After we do that, after we identify the GCF in step 1, step 2 is you will be dividing the numerator and the denominator by the GCF. That will get you your most simplified fraction. I believe we did another example. Yeah, we did one more example in class together on Monday. And we were looking at the fraction 10/15. So the first step is to identify the GCF, the greatest common factor. So we listed all the factors of 5, which is 1 times 5. And then the factors of 10, which is 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. When we are comparing the list of factors, we see that the greatest factor that these numbers have in common is 5. So when we find our GCF is 5, then we can divide the numerator and the denominator by the GCF to get our answer in its most simplest form, which is 2/3. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little refresher to help you with your homework tonight. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow.